It's that time again, everyone. It's Diversity's One-Stop Woman. I am your hostess, Stacey A. Hill. Are you ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted? Then you don't want to miss this episode. Sit back, relax, and listen up.
Hello, everyone. I am back, and I have with me on today Essence Gant, beauty editor for BuzzFeed. Hey, Essence.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So happy to be on the show and so happy to talk to you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live in Jersey. I work in New York. I'm from Georgia originally, and I work up here now as a beauty editor, like you said already, for BuzzFeed. And, yeah, basically what I do is create content, and I focus on multicultural beauty and black hair.
Is it a large market for that in your area?
I don't think a lot of people are doing it as far as media goes. There, for most mainstream publications or digital outlets that are on the same level or somewhat comparable to BuzzFeed, the conversation around beauty is very narrow, if you will. It's a lot of times not that inclusive. Black hair market is a billion-dollar industry. There's definitely market for it. That's never been a question. It's just always been a lack of content and a lack of voice to tell those stories, I think.
When we look at mainstream media, we're starting to see more of a we're starting to be more represented. But by the same token, we don't see ourselves as much as we should. Why is that?
I think, honestly, it is just a matter of people tell stories from their own perspective and from their own lens. So if you don't have a diverse group of people telling the story, you're not going to get a diverse story. And it's the same thing even in Hollywood. If all of your directors or writers are white males, then typically the story that's told will probably always cast white male leads or white woman leads, or they will be stories that white people want to hear. That's why it's so awesome right now with Shonda Rhimes and Ava DuVernay now opening those doors and just diversifying those stories from their own perspective. And I think it's just, in a sense, it's human nature. We can only tell stories from our standpoint, and that's why diversity is so important, on all levels, whether you're creating, whether you're the model, whether you're the actor or actress. We need diversity all the way around.
Awesome, and we love that word diversity, of course. I'm just saying. But I'm so glad that you brought that up, because people started to complain. It's like we congratulate those that are in the media and that they're getting awards, but then we are complaining on the other hand and saying things like, well, why did they cast Kerry Washington in a role where she's committing adultery? Why is Gabrielle Union in a role where she also at one point in the TV show was cheating with her husband? So it's like, on one hand, we're not happy with it, but then on the other hand, we're like, okay, we're glad that they actually got awards.
Well, I think sometimes, especially for audiences who waited so long for their story to be told, they just want a picture-perfect portrayal, and that's not really realistic. That's not reality. I love both Being Mary Jane and Scandal, and I think both Gabrielle and Carrie do amazing, phenomenal jobs in those roles, and that's reality. People enter into relationships sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, that the other person is already with someone else, and that's reality. And I think we have to look at it from a standpoint of, like, do we want a real story or do we want just something that's so picture perfect and flawless? And then when you do that, it's not real anymore and it's not relatable. These are real things that happen to people every day. It's not, oh, this black woman is now making us look bad because she's on a show dating a man who's married. it's just a real, honest, genuine human story, and the actress happens to be a Black woman. And that is a story that is relatable whether you're Black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. It's just a story, and I think it's really as simple as that. But I do understand sometimes the frustration because there are so many times where our stories are mistold, or we do get typecast, or we are always depicted in the same light, and so we sometimes don't really know how to separate or decipher, like, okay, is this one of those times where we're just playing that person again, or where they're depicting us like this again, or is this really just a human story and it's being tastefully and well done? And sometimes it is hard to tell between the two.
Okay. With that being said, though, would you agree or disagree that we do need more positive shows? For me, when I do watch TV, I don't see where we are giving our young people that many positive role models to look up to, and not saying the actual actors and actresses aren't positive, but I'm saying what's actually being depicted on the TV screen. And sometimes I feel like that mirrors our real life, because as young people, they suck everything in. And even as adults, we don't like to admit it, but we do. We start patterning our life after what we see on television. So we've got to get the red bottoms, and we've got to have the hair down to our back, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, where are our positive reinforcements?
I think that it's just a matter of balance. There are, shows like Scandal, but there's also Black-ish with Tracee Ellis Ross, and she plays a mom to a family. She has 4 children, and, I think it's just a matter of balance. And I do think that, I personally, I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, so I grew up in like the sitcom era, Fresh Prince, Family Matters, all of that. So obviously, those are the kind of shows that I'm more drawn to, and I would love to see more shows like that resurface and kind of come back in. I won't say that, all reality shows should be banned, even though I'm not a fan, because I feel like they basically exploit certain groups of people. I'm not a fan, but there are some people who watch them strictly for entertainment, and it's not about trying to control or monitor what is put out there or to censor everything. That's the beauty of art and, being able to have the freedom to tell certain stories. But I do think that there should be some balance. And sometimes I do feel like, so right now we're in this big reality TV era, and I think we're starting to get some of that. I think when the whole reality era first happened, it seemed like that's all that was on TV, and that's all you were reading about in the blogs. But now, again, with Scandal and Being Mary Jane and Black-ish and even the Mindy Project and the new show Fresh Off the Boat, which is a full Asian cast, and I think it's the first one that they've had on TV in 20 years. So now those stories for people of color are being told, and I think there is more of a balance now. So I think it's overall we can be pretty optimistic about, hopefully we can be optimistic about where it's going.
Give us your contact information as far as like where people can read articles that you are putting out there, so that they can see more of their face. Let them know. I'm being honest, because sometimes we don't know where to look for that at, so we just pattern ourselves after other people. And, we all want to get along, that's great, but sometimes we want to see someone that looks like us. So tell us where we can read the articles that you put out.
Well, you can get it all on BuzzFeed.com, and you can find my page directly at BuzzFeed.com/essence.Gant, and that's ESSENCE.Gant, GANT.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to hearing and seeing you in the future to, really just celebrating women. I think that's such a beautiful thing because, like I said, we really do. We want to see people that look like us. It makes us feel good, and not only us, but our daughters and our girls coming up. They want to see people that look like them. That's always so,
Yeah, and it's very important. It's important for your psyche and just how you perceive yourself and how you just carry yourself. It's important on so many levels. So absolutely, I agree wholeheartedly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Essence, for being on our show. And, guys, we love you so much. We will talk to you again, same time, next week, same station.